What's going on, everybody? We've got a really strong matchup here with a lot on the line, and this is the kind of game that feels bigger than a regular season meeting. There's a $500,000 prize sitting there, so you already know both teams are going to treat this like a major spot. On top of that, this is also about bragging rights, momentum, and showing which team can handle the pressure when the spotlight gets brighter. What makes this one even more interesting is that these two teams just met a week ago, and that result adds another layer to the way this matchup is being looked at. New York won that first meeting, but the recent form on both sides tells a much fuller story. New York has lost 4 of its last 5 games, while Vegas has won 4 of its last 5. So even though the head-to-head result last week went New York's way, the broader momentum is sitting with Vegas right now. That's exactly why this game feels so tight. One side has the recent win in the matchup, but the other side has the better current run. That creates a classic high-pressure spot where the market has to balance what happened a week ago with what each team has done more recently. When that happens, the game often becomes less about the last result and more about which team can repeat its strengths and correct its weaknesses under pressure. The first thing that stands out is how different the recent runs have been. New York has not been in top form lately. 4 losses in 5 tells you they have not been at their best, even if they did manage to get the one win against Vegas. That makes them a dangerous team in some ways, because they are capable of producing in the right spot, but it also makes them harder to trust as a favorite when the recent body of work has been uneven. Vegas is the opposite story. 4 wins in 5 gives them a much more stable profile coming into this one. Their only loss in that stretch came against this same New York team, which means they have not only been winning, but they have also been building around the lesson from that defeat. That is the kind of response you want to see from a team heading into another big meeting. So if you are looking at momentum alone, Vegas has the stronger case. If you are looking at the direct matchup result, New York has the edge from the most recent meeting. That is what makes this game such a sharp betting spot. There is no easy read, but there is a very clear contrast in current form. The head-to-head from a week ago is important because it showed exactly how the game can swing. New York got the win, and they did it by hitting shots at a very high level from deep. That kind of performance can change a game fast, especially when a team is able to turn a stretch of good shooting into control of the matchup. But that also raises the question of sustainability. If one team needs a hot shooting night from long range to win, and the other team has already started tightening up defensively from that same area, then the rematch can look very different. That is where this matchup gets fascinating. The first meeting told us what happened, but not necessarily what has to happen again. Vegas also looked better as the first game went on. The second half was much more balanced, which matters because it suggests they settled in and adjusted. That is a good sign in a rematch, especially when you know the team now has a fresh look at what the other side wants to do. Vegas has the stronger defensive case in a lot of the key areas mentioned here. Over the last 5 games, they have really picked things up when it comes to defending from deep. They are giving up the 4th fewest threes in the league over that stretch, and they are holding opponents to the 2nd lowest shooting percentage from deep over those 5 games. That is a major shift and a very important one in a matchup where the 3-point line matters so much. Even more specifically, they have been locking down teams above the break, which shows that the improved defense is not just random. It is targeted, and that tells you the team has been making real adjustments. When a team can shrink the space opponents want to use most, it changes the whole shape of the game. New York still has a very strong defensive profile overall, sitting in the top 5 for scoring defense. That is why this game is so competitive. But Vegas has also shown that it can solve elite defenses, and that matters in a spot like this where the margin for error is tiny. In a game with a prize like this, the team that can combine defensive control with better transition pressure is usually the one that comes out on top. This matchup also comes down to where each team gets its points. New York depends heavily on the 3-point line and the free throw line, and that has been a core part of how they create offense. The challenge is that Vegas has been very disciplined defensively, especially when it comes to avoiding fouls. That means New York may not get the kind of easy points it likes to rely on. Vegas also has the edge in some of the more physical or momentum-based areas of the game. They have been strong in fast break points over the last 5 games, while New York has been giving up a lot of fast break opportunities and has not been producing much in transition itself. That matters because if Vegas can turn stops into quick scoring chances, the whole game can tilt in their direction. The glass is another area to watch. If Vegas can control rebounds better and use that to push the pace, they can pull New York out of the half-court environment that helps the Liberty more. In a slower game, New York can settle into the structure it wants. In a faster game, Vegas gets more chances to create separation and force the action. That is why the style of the game matters so much. It is not just about who is better overall. It is about which team can shape the game into the kind of contest it wants. Now for the total pick. I lean over, but the total is sitting at 174.5, and that is one of the more interesting parts of the matchup. The natural lean is toward the over because of the offensive urgency, the financial incentive, and the way both teams may respond to the pressure. A $500,000 prize changes the feel of the game, and both teams know that one big scoring run could swing the whole thing. At the same time, the head-to-head history leans the other way. These teams have gone under this number in 4 straight meetings, and 4 of the last 5 head-to-head matchups have also gone under. That is a strong pattern, and it cannot be ignored. It tells you that, historically, this matchup has been tighter and less free-flowing than the market may suggest. So the total is tricky. The game could open up if Vegas pushes pace and forces New York into a track meet. But if it slows into half-court sets, that style would favor New York more and could keep scoring under control. That is why the total is not an easy play even if the over has some logic behind it. My best pick for this game is Vegas moneyline. On the side, Vegas is the team I would rather trust. The current form is better, the defensive trend is stronger, and they have already shown they can handle elite defensive teams. They also have the kind of profile that can respond after a tough matchup, which matters in a game like this where they already had a close look at New York last week. New York still has the higher-end defensive reputation and the recent head-to-head win, so this is not a spot to take lightly. But the recent form and the defensive improvement from Vegas make them the more appealing side from here. They look better equipped to handle the pressure of a big spot and turn the game into the kind of contest that plays to their strengths. That is why I would lean Vegas on the side and be cautious with the total. The setup feels like one where the better current form matters more than the single result from a week ago. This is a high-stakes game with a real championship feel to it, and that usually brings out the best in the teams that are built to handle pressure. New York has the defensive quality, but Vegas has the current edge in form and the cleaner recent trend. That is what makes this such a strong betting game to break down. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with somebody who's betting these games tonight. It really helps the channel grow, and it makes a huge difference in helping me keep these daily picks and breakdowns coming for you. I appreciate every bit of support, and it means a lot to keep building this with you all. I'll be back with more picks, more breakdowns, and more value in the next one, so make sure you stay tuned. Catch you in the next video.